Oh, I can tell you about John Dewey's stance on formal education, all right. I wrote my master's thesis on John Dewey. I'd get a doctorate in John Dewey if I could.
Let me make reference to a paper I wrote back when I was in college. Formal education is essential because young children need to be trained and taught associations. It should be direct institution or schooling. Other societies depend on tradition, but that is not enough to foster new ideas. Imitation does not work, as the gap between the capacities of young people to learn and the already learned capabilities of adults becomes bigger. Teaching in a formal setting allows connections to be made so that when young people begin to learn the concepts adults know, they do not seem so abstract. There is far less likely chance that information will be lost when passing it from one generation to another. And there must be a balance between informal education and formal, known as the incidental and intentional.
Dad was always telling us kids about how the Big Four influenced education. In one way, he believed that the Big Four was driven by education in the way that savages will stay savages until their stimuli for education becomes more advanced. He argues that in societies and communities of higher economical standing, they are at an advantage to have better starting set of superior stimuli. Dad believed the environment of a student was a big determinant of how the student learns and what the student learned from others as compared to those in their immediate social group. Race is what determines the base of what students come into school having already learned. And with gender, well, there should be less of a gap between high school and college, and it should become more of a logical step for both man and woman to go into college. Dad's philosophy and ideas are why he was fondly nicknamed the American philosopher.
My father, John Dewey, was a big critique of educators during his time. He was upset that they simply just lectured his students and didn't let them have an active role on their own. He was a critic of the society and how education was too rigid to not just focus on the students. It was his ideas and research that have shaped what education is today. John Dewey was not just my father, he was the father of education as well.
Hi, I'm John Dewey's best friend. We were tight all throughout elementary school. He was a boy with some crazy ideas, but he had a vision, that's for sure. First of all, he thought that education is the way that information is passed from generation to generation with the addition of new ideas and the exploration of concepts that will further societies. Pretty crazy stuff, huh? He thought there should be a balance between both formal and informal education. And a democratic society dictates the way in which education should be run and viewed. He was into democracy and stuff. He said, it's because democracy that a higher sense of education exists. Democracy is the driving force of education. And of course, John always said, culture of the student plays a huge role in what natural assumptions he or she makes about the world. That's John for you.
I know how to make them stop and stare as I zone out. The club can't even handle me right now. Watching me, I go all out. The club can't even handle me right now.
So like the same things between John and Dewey, what we think today is actually pretty cool, like formal education and when we enter the real world, and how group work is like super beneficial, and how culture affects based learning. And there's like so many differences between that. Like students should take them.
So many y'all know me like 12. Look like cash and they all just there. Bottles, models, selling no shares. Fall out cause that's the business. All out is so ridiculous. Zone out, so much attention. Scream out, I'm in the building. They're watching, I know this. I'm rocking, I'm rolling.
Hi, my name is John Dewey. I know I look just like him without the glasses on. And I believe that my 5 biggest contributions to education are that education must be a major experience in a student's life, and school should be interesting enough so it stays with them forever. and it's something that they can look back on for the rest of their lives. Students should be able to reflect upon what they have learned, to expand their thinking and voice their own opinions. Students should also be able to interact with each other in a learning-friendly environment. My passion for democracy in the classroom enables everyone to share their own thoughts and beliefs as equals. Finally, in my eyes, the purpose of education should not revolve around the acquisition of a predetermined set of skills, but rather the realization of one's full potential and the ability to use those skills for the greater good.
Go Cougs!
I can tell you about John Dewey, alright. His stance on and concerns of adults because what?
Is that his? Okay, what?
Educators during his time.
Her eyes make the stars look like they're not shining. Her hair falls perfectly without her trying. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every
Go Cougs!